Hey everyone, and welcome to a deep dive on a zodiac pairing that always makes me kind of go, hmm, Leo and Pisces. On the surface, it's like you've got the lion, all warmth and drama, and then the fish swimming in a sea of emotion. They both love love, but are they really compatible? We're about to find out. And trust me, even if you're not a horoscope devotee, you're going to learn some fascinating stuff about how these signs tick.
What's so intriguing about this pairing is that they both have this really deep connection to love, right?
But
But
they,
they express it in such completely different ways. Leo, ruled by the sun, it's all about like outward expressions of passion, while Pisces, ruled by Neptune, embodies a more mystical, unconditional kind of love. It's like mixing fire and water. Does it steam up in a good way or just completely fizzle out?
right out the gate, the source material dives into Leo and Pisces intimacy compatibility. And honestly, it's not as dreamy as you might think.
And that's because there's this like fundamental astrological concept that's at play here. Leo is considered the fall of Neptune. Now, before you think someone's tripping off a cliff, fall in astrology simply means a sign where a planet's energy is a bit, how to put it, challenged. Think of it like this. Leo's natural style is very direct, almost like a spotlight, right? But Pisces, influenced by Neptune, is more about subtlety and illusion, like moonlight on water.
So when Leo turns on that spotlight trying to get clarity in a relationship, Pisces might just evaporate.
In a way, yes, that intensity can be really overwhelming for a Pisces who might retreat further into their shell. And this can lead to so many misunderstandings. Instead of a passionate embrace, it becomes this game of chase, with Leo pursuing and Pisces feeling pressured.
Instead of a slow dance, it's like Leo's doing the tango while Pisces is trying to waltz. No wonder the source says building trust is essential for this pairing to even think about intimacy. Forget the grand romantic gestures. Leo, just show up consistently and prove you're in it for the long haul.
Exactly. And for Pisces, it's about opening up emotionally, letting Leo see their vulnerability rather than just disappearing into the mist when things get tough.
Speaking of tough, the source does not hold back on the whole trust issue. It almost makes it sound like both of these signs are just destined to doubt each other. Is it really about dishonesty, or are we back to this fundamental difference in how they see the world?
It's more the latter. Remember that foggy and unclear energy we talked about with Pisces? The source suggests that Leo might misinterpret this as Pisces being evasive or even intentionally deceptive.
It even goes as far to say that Leo might think Pisces is always on drugs.
Okay.
Maybe a bit dramatic, but I see where they're going with that.
Yeah, a little bit of an exaggeration there. But it really highlights how Leo, who values directness so much, might struggle to decipher Pisces' more fluid way of communicating. It's not about lying. It's about Pisces navigating a situation based on their feelings and intuition, which can be a totally foreign language to a straightforward Leo.
So it's not malice. It's more like they're speaking different languages with their hearts. No wonder the source says clear communication is make or break for this pairing. But here's where it gets kind of hopeful. Despite all these communication hurdles, apparently Leo and Pisces often connect through creativity.
It's true. Just think about it. Leo expresses themselves with these bold strokes, while Pisces is drawn to like all the subtle nuances of art and imagination. They might not get each other's daily texts right, but put them in a band together or give them a canvas to share, and suddenly they're speaking the same language.
Like Leo's belting out a power ballad while Pisces is creating this dreamy light show behind them. I get it, but then the source throws in this curveball. It says that if Leo is too harsh in their creative feedback, it can totally crush Pisces' confidence. It even suggests that they're better off having separate artistic pursuits. Kind of a bummer, right?
It's a delicate dance, that's for sure. Leo, in all their enthusiasm, might need to dial back the theatrics a notch when collaborating with a Pisces. Instead of roaring their feedback. Maybe try a gentler approach, highlighting Pisces' strengths and offering suggestions with a lighter touch.
So less, that's off-key, fish face.
Yeah.
And more like, hey, maybe we could explore this melody a bit more.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that Pisces thrives on encouragement and positive reinforcement.
And this whole idea of different emotional styles really comes into play here. The source makes it clear that both Leo and Pisces are deeply feeling creatures, just wired in opposite ways.
It's the classic fire and water dynamic again. Leo, ruled by the sun, radiant, warm, and quick to flare up. Their emotions are like a bonfire. Impossible to miss. Pisces, on the other hand, influenced by watery Neptune, more like a deep ocean. Emotions run deep and strong, but they're often hidden beneath the surface.
So when Leo's ready to erupt like a volcano, Pisces is more likely to withdraw like the tide. Talk about a recipe for miscommunication.
And that's where understanding becomes so crucial. Leo don't mistake Pisces' quietness for indifference. They feel deeply, even if they don't always show it. And Pisces try to remember that Leo's dramatic outbursts are usually very short-lived. They don't hold grudges, they just express themselves passionately.
It's almost like they need a translator just for their feelings.
Yeah.
But you know what surprised me the most? The source claims that both Leo and Pisces highly value honesty and clarity. That seems kind of counterintuitive, given that Pisces is all about intuition and vibes and all that.
Does seem contradictory, doesn't it? But remember, Pisces craves authenticity. And while they understand the need for white lies to protect someone's feelings, ultimately they value genuineness above all else. And that's something that a Leo who wears their heart on their sleeve can really appreciate.
So it's less about never bending the truth and more about just being genuine in your intentions.
Exactly. And the source also points out how Leo's natural heroism can be incredibly attractive to a Pisces, who often views the world through a very romantic lens.
That makes sense. Leo's out there slaying dragons, real or imagined. While Pisces is writing poetry about it, it's a match made in, well, maybe not heaven, but definitely a really good indie movie.
Exactly. And this is where reality kind of sets in. Even the most epic love stories need more than just grand gestures to survive, right? The source suggests that finding shared activities and common ground can be a real struggle for this pair.
Makes sense because we're talking about a fixed sign Leo and a mutable sign Pisces. Two completely different approaches to life.
Precisely. Leo is all about routine and familiarity. They find comfort in knowing what to expect, whether it's their go-to coffee order or their Sunday brunch spot. Pisces, on the other hand, thrives on spontaneity and change. They're the ones suggesting a last-minute road trip or wanting to try that new fusion restaurant everyone's talking about.
So while Leo's marking their calendar for their annual trip to that cozy cabin, Pisces is already browsing flights to, like, Bali. Yeah, I can see how that could lead to some disagreements about how to spend their weekends.
You can say that again. Date night could be a delightful surprise. Or a logistical nightmare. Imagine this. Leo's planning this romantic dinner at their favorite restaurant. They've made a reservation weeks in advance. Meanwhile, Pisces is daydreaming about a spontaneous picnic under the stars. Location TBD.
Oh man, it's like they're playing relationship roulette.
Yeah.
Will it be this heartwarming moment of connection or a total clash of expectations? So where does all of this leave us? Is a Leo-Pisces relationship just like astrologically inadvisable? Should we be sending out a cosmic warning signal to these two?
Not at all. I think the source material does a really good job at highlighting the potential pitfalls, but it doesn't write them off completely. It actually emphasizes that success for a Leo-Pisces pairing really hinges on their willingness to understand and adapt to each other's unique rhythms.
So it's not about whether they can make it work, but if they're both willing to put in the effort to, like, truly meet in the middle.
Exactly. It takes conscious effort from both sides. Leo needs to be patient with Pisces' tendency to kind of drift and dream. Don't try to force them into a rigid box.
Right.
And Pisces, try to appreciate Leo's need for stability and predictability. Don't mistake their love of routine for a lack of spontaneity. It's all about finding a balance, a rhythm that honors both of your needs.
Like finding a dance floor where both the waltz and the tango can coexist. Each partner taking turns leading and following. It's about compromise and a willingness to step outside of those comfort zones. And isn't that really where the real growth happens in any relationship?
Absolutely. And who knows, maybe navigating all those differences is actually what strengthens their bond in the long run. Those challenges, those moments of friction, they can actually become opportunities for deeper understanding and a more resilient connection.
It's like they say sometimes the most beautiful melodies are the ones that start with a little dissonance, that tension, that push and pull. It can create something truly unique and harmonious. So for all you Leos and Pisces out there, don't let the astrologers discourage you. If you're willing to embrace the dance of fire and water, you might just find yourself swept away in a love story as epic as any myth. Until next time, everyone, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep into this ever-fascinating world around us.